Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'll be talking on the topic called bias. And when I talk about bias, what do I mean? Bias is simply a predisposition that affects our judgment, our decision making, often in ways that we do not fully realize or we don't recognize on time. It can, it manifests in probably our preference for an individual or a particular candidate or or a particular group of people due to factors like their race or gender, educational background, and even personal experience. You know, and this unconscious bias can influence our perception and behaviors and probably can lead to irrational or unfair judgment. So today I'll be talking about some forms of bias. Number one bring out is the affinity bias. Affinity bias is just a tendency to favor some person. Let me use a person who share is a similar character or behavior with you. Probably like maybe you share the same environment before or working environment and all that. So you tend to favor or choose or prefer that person over any other person. So that's what to me I feel is the affinity bias. For example, you're trying to hire a candidate for in a workplace, and then you bump into this one that comes from the same alma mater with you, probably your secondary school friend or um, your 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 university friend, and you just hire the person. Probably he might not really be qualified, but that familiarity, that preference that you have, because you share something in common, you choose to, you know, um, employ such a person. Number two, we're talking about perception bias. Perception bias is just like it occurs when our judgment about individual are based on our stereotype or assumption rather than objective facts. Like you just feel like tall people can work better than the short ones. It's just we don't have really without the good facts. So those are perception bias. Or you believe that women are just too soft, they can't be in a managerial position. Rather, the men, they are more logical and they can be in that position. Those are perception bias. The next one I'll talk about the confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is simply the tendency to seek out or interpret information in ways that confirm our existing belief or assumption. For example, you have you're looking for facts that will support your belief, what you actually think of. So you don't give information, you don't give attention to any contrary information. You just need that exact one that proves a point to you, that proves that perception you're carrying on your head. The next one I'll talk about is the group think. The group think is a phenomenon where the desire for harmony or conformity within a group surpasses the critical thinking, and this can lead to poor decision making. Let me break it down a little bit. What I mean is, you're trying to be in a particular group, maybe a group that is being identified with strength or a particular trait. So you just want to be part of them by all means. So it will lead you to confronting your own belief and any other thing. You just want to be there by all means. So you don't you your beliefs, your attitude, and all that. You keep them aside and you just try to conform. You just want to be part of it. So you just try to be though it can lead to some strategies, it leads to some conformity. Definitely you just have to do that. And the last one I want to talk about is I could remember when I was little, I had this friend of mine. He was very intelligent and he's a cultured person. I mean, he's down to earth. And so then my father, normally he was a very strict person, but I had this exemption through this guy because my father felt this is a very nice guy. He's my friend, and he's someone I should just I can hang out with. So he doesn't really care how long we spend our time with this person or how long where we go together, because he just have that belief that this person is a very nice person. But on the long run, I noticed that this my friend was, he's into shoplifting. He picks things, he steals, and he lies a lot. He lies a lot. So it was actually a difficult thing for me to convince my parent that this person they thought was a nice person is actually another person. So we'll talk about the halo. This brings me down to the halo effect. The halo effect is just like the tendency to form an overall positive impression of someone based on the that first encounter when you meet that person, that first encounter you have on that person, so you just believe that that is how that person is without giving proper attention to details or experience on all that. So today we'll be talking about what are some best practices, what can we do to conform, to mitigate these forms of bias. Number one, I'll talk about set up clear policies and penalties. You should establish comprehensive policy that promote equality and inclusivity. Sorry, the English is kind of big for me. What do I mean? You should set up policies that they are based on facts. You don't just do things out of favor and all that. And also this person, this and set of penalties, like anyone that breach that should be penalized, and it should be that way. And secondly, you should offer training. Try to train your employees, offer mandatory on this bias training on employees, especially those in leadership and decision making position, so they can be conscious and know exactly when they are maybe when they're taking up some kind of form of bias. Another one, you should encourage open dialogue and feedback, cultivate an organizational culture that values open communication and encourages people to speak up about their bias and what they encounter. So it shouldn't be a tyranny kind of a thing that let everybody be able to speak and express himself in that organization or wherever it is. And then also you should hold leaders accountable. Every leader should be accountable for whoever he recruits or brings into the organization. And lastly, we should use data informed decision. What do I mean? You should collect and analyze data on hiring. So, for example, if we are looking, let me use a jump for example. If the cutoff mark is 180, it should be 180. So you don't just bring someone that score 160 because you know the person is your child and all that. So we should have a data informed decision. Thank you very much. Let's watch out for the next video.